by the divine grace of Jagat Janani, Sri Jnanakshi Rajrajeshwari, by the most compassionate blessings of Param Pujya Guru Maharaj, by the unlimited, boundless grace of Bhagavan Sri Narayan, we are very, very fortunate today to once again be present to read about the glories and listen about the glories of Paramatma. In whichever manner you may analyze human life, you analyze it from the point of view of the achievements you have done in this life. You analyze it from the point of view of the intellectual development you think you have. But when you talk about Paramatma, you become humble, modest, just like the greatest of scientists. Greatest of scientists like Albert Einstein. Many other scientists have openly acknowledged that the mystery remains. With all, whatever intelligence you have applied, you put all the technology of the world into your application. But ultimately, you will be at the same square one where we started and say that it's not possible to grasp that grandeur of Paramatma. For one small example we will take. If you just see your own origin, that is from the date of birth, which we do not truly know, very, very truly, there is no confirmation in my mind that I was born on the particular date of birth given to me. Very, very truly. Because I cannot be a testimony to my birth. I have been only told that I was born on such and such a day. Everybody, every single individual. We do not even have the intelligence or the memory. We only infer. We only with faith we believe what we have been told. Every single most highly intellectual person with the highest capacity of debating, that person also, he cannot testify the time and place and the date of birth. He cannot testify. His own date of birth. It is only after we are grown up that we are told, and through inference we understand. And we come to the conclusion, because the people who have told me that I was born on that day are trustworthy. They are trustworthy because I know that in many other occasions I have seen that they are trustworthy. Therefore, from 10 trustworthy occasions, I come to the conclusion that they are saying that you must be born on such and such. You were born. We accept it. We know very well that somebody has got a date of birth 2 years later, they have put it in the certificate. 2 years earlier, they have put the certificate. 1 month earlier, 1 month later, we all know. And in the villages, it's not even possible to record the time, and they do not record the time. They don't have any need for recording the time. But the modern life has become inevitable to identify a person by the date of birth. Passport. We require an Aadhaar card. We have to testify that we are born. So all these things we know very well. So this is the state of affairs of that so-called intelligent human being. When he talks about superstition and Andhavishwas, every date of birth is an Andhavishwas only. Andhavishwas only, no? Nobody can testify. Either it has to be testified by somebody else. You cannot testify it, and you believe it, and you accept it, and in court also. When were you born? I was born on so and so date at so and so time. Are you sure? Let me just think that I am sure. And take siblings born from same parents, siblings, and parents born from parents, and their parents born from parents. ಈ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿ ಅತಿ ಅದ್ಭುತವಾದ ವಿಷಯ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ಹೆಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ? ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಹೇಳಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ. ರೇಷನ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಹೋದಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಬರ್ತ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಆಧಾರ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಹೋದಾಗ ಡೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಬರ್ತ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಪಾಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಡೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಬರ್ತ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವಾಗ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಯಾರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ತಾಯಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಈ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ನವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ನರ್ಸ್ ಬರೆದಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ನರ್ಸ್ ಗುರುತಿಸಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ತೊಗೊಂಡೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಡೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಬರ್ತ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಡೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಬರ್ತ್, ಟೈಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಬರ್ತ್ ಯಾವುದು ನಮಗೆ ನಿಜವಾಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಆದರೆ ನಂಬ್ತೀವ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಂಬಿತಾನೆ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ನಂಬಿಕೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಬಾಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನ ಲೀಲೆಯನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮಿಂದ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತಾ? ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನ ಅಸೀಮವಾದ ಲೀಲೆಯನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತಾ? ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾಗ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಸಾವಿರಾರು ಕೆಲಸಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಚಿಂತೆ 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 ಅಂತ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಬದಲಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಚಿಂತಾ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಚಿಂತನಂ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮನನ ಮಾಡೋದು, ದೇವರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳೋದು, ಮಾತಾಡೋದು. ದೊಡ್ಡ ಭಾಗ್ಯ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾಗ್ಯ. ಟುಡೇ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅವರ್ ಫಾರ್ಚೂನ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್. ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ ಐ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಫಾರ್ಚೂನ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ವೆನ್ ವಿ ಟಾಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ, ಲಿಸನ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ. ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಫಾರ್ಚೂನ್. Somebody asked me what is going to happen next second, coming second. Any guarantee? No guarantee, but I very, very happily we can say we are now at this moment in the most beautiful possible activity, undoubtedly the best activity possible in the world, meditating upon God. Therefore, happily we will continue today once again. We have seen yesterday up to the 8th manifestation of Paramatma, how he came into the avatara of Rishabhadeva, who was the Moola Purusha for even the Jaina Dharma. The Jaina Dharma emanated from Rishabhadeva, Avadhuta Swarupa he was. It is completely free from any rules and regulations or any sense of any other. He was just like one with nature. During his 9th descent, at the solicitation of the seers, he took the form of a king Prithu and made the earth in the form of a cow yield all its products which she had so far withheld, and hence this particular manifestation of the Lord proved most propitious to the world. Very beautiful description you see here. I do not know how many of you have read history in a little detail. Modern history you might have read. Around the 18th century there was a Renaissance. It's called the Renaissance period. In this Renaissance period what happened? Mainly Europe saw this period. Suddenly number of arts and crafts and sculptures and beautiful things developed. Singing, music, dance, drama, everything developed. Suddenly there was a boom of all these artistic activities. So, truthfully speaking, one will attribute, actually the father of Renaissance was Mr. XYZ. We'll say the father of Renaissance was so and so. But the father's father was God only, no? Father's father was God because Paramatma only gave that thought. Without the Paramatma giving that thought, how would it be possible for a person to actually develop anything? So the father's father is Paramatma. Paramatma gave that thought to this person, and then Renaissance came in. This particular 9th avatara, he took the form of a king called as Prithu. Paramatma became Prithu, and he made the earth in the form of a cow and yield all its products. It looks like a story. Prithu, there was a Raja, there was a king called Prithu, because of which the earth got the name Prithvi. Remember, Bhuma Devi became Prithvi because Prithu Raja, he churned the earth. He milked the earth. How did he do that? Milking the earth means what? Today, when somebody is having mines, from the mines you go deep into the earth and then you get all the wonderful treasures from the earth. Gold you get, coal gold fields, and you have so many other mines, you get all the things. What are you actually doing? You are extracting things from the earth. So, as early as thousands of years ago, it is very clearly said that Raja Prithu was so intelligent that he could extract the things, he could excavate things from the earth. Clearly, you read the sentence once again. During his 9th descent, at the solicitation of the seers, that is the request of the Mahatmas, he took the form of a king Prithu and made the earth in the form of a cow yield all its products which she had so far withheld. And hence this particular manifestation of the Lord proved most propitious to the world. That means everything. First time gold they would have seen, first time silver they would have seen, all those things came from the earth only. That is the 9th avatar, Prithu. At the end of the Chakshusha Manvantara, I told you there are 14 Manus, 14 Manvantaras. We are in the Vaivasvata Manvantara. Like this Chakshusha Manvantara. We saw this Swayambhuva Manvantara already. Now this is a Chakshusha Manvantara. When all the 3 worlds were being deluged by the ocean, all the 3 worlds, Purvasva or Bhumi, Akasha, Patala, Swarga and Patala, all the 3 were being immersed in waters. It's called as this water is called as the waters of deluge. You might have heard, no, the world is going to come to an end. People say the world is going to come to an end. How can it come to an end? Because suddenly from nowhere the space is going to be filled with water. How the water is going to be held? Just like the earth is held now. Where is the earth held? It is in space. And how is it in space? We don't know. Suddenly there will be waters, deluge, and all the 3 worlds were immersed in the waters. Then what happened? He took the form of a fish. Paramatma took the form of a fish, a whale, during his 10th manifestation and rescued the future Vaivasvata Manu, the Lord of the present Manvantara. So Chakshusha Manvantara was just preceding Manvantara. Just before our Manvantara in which we are here, Vaivasvata Manvantara, Chakshusha Manvantara, there was a deluge, there was a Mahapralaya. It's called as a Mahapralaya, where the entire earth is going to be immersed in water. Then ultimately Paramatma took the form of a fish. And that means, you see, it's something very, very incomprehensible. You have water, you have the earth inside, and you have a bank. A bank, where is the bank? Who is to understand the bank? Nobody can understand the bank. The bank is in space. So Paramatma comes in the form of a whale, and then he pulls the big boat in which the Saptarishis are there and takes them to the bank for them to be the next Saptarishis, for the next Manvantara in which we are there now. Picking him up on the earth which had been transformed into a boat, the earth itself became a boat, and he took them to another universe itself, another place. During his 11th manifestation, when the gods and the demons began churning the ocean with Mount Mandara, the Lord assumed the form of a tortoise and supported Mount Mandara on his back. So the Devatas and the Asuras, on the guidelines of Brihaspati and Shukracharya. Brihaspati is the Devaguru, Shukracharya is the Asura. So both of them decided that why not, both of us are born from the same lineage. Diti and Aditi. Diti and Aditi. Kashyap Rishi had 2 wives, Diti and Aditi. From Aditi came the Adityas or the Devatas. From Diti came Daityas or Asuras. So both are cousins, actually brothers in one way. So both of them joined together. They wanted to churn the ocean in order to get the treasures of the ocean. So they chose the Mount Mandara as the churning stick. They chose Vasuki as the rope. And when they were churning, they wanted a base for that one. So Paramatma took the form of a tortoise. So ಒಂಬತ್ತನೇ ಅವತಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಅವಾಗ 9ನೇ ಅವತಾರ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಪೃಥು ಮಹಾರಾಜರಾಗಿ ಬಂದು ಭೂಮಾದೇವಿಯನ್ನು ಕಡಿದು ಭೂಮಾದೇವಿಯಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಧವಾದ ಖನಿಜ ಪದಾರ್ಥಗಳು ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ ನಿಮಗೆ? ಬೆಳ್ಳಿ, ಬಂಗಾರ ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ ಪದಾರ್ಥಗಳಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ವಜ್ರ ವೈಡೂರ್ಯಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ತೆಗೆದ್ರಂತೆ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ 9ನೇ ಅವತಾರ. 10ನೇ ಅವತಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಬಂದು ಮತ್ಸ್ಯ ಅವತಾರವನ್ನು ತಾಳಿದರು. ಆವಾಗ 3 ಲೋಕಗಳು ಕೂಡ ನೀರಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಳುಗು ಹೋದಾಗ ಸಪ್ತ ಋಷಿಗಳನ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ಮನುವನ್ನು ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಅವರು ದಡಕ್ಕೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಮೀನಾಗಿ ಆ ಬೋಟನ್ನು ಎಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಮತ್ಸ್ಯಾವತಾರದಲ್ಲಿ. 11ನೇ ಅವತಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಬಂದು ದೇವಾಸುರರು ಇಬ್ಬರೂ ಸೇರಿ ಸಮುದ್ರ ಮಂಥನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಮಂದಾರ ಪರ್ವತವನ್ನು ಕಡುಗೋಲಾಗಿ ಬಳಸಿ ವಾಸುಕಿ ಸರ್ಪವನ್ನು ಹಗ್ಗವಾಗಿ ಬಳಸಿ ಈ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಎಳಿತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಧಾರವಾಗಿ ಆಮೆ ರೂಪವನ್ನು ತಾಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕೂರ್ಮಾವತಾರ. ಕೂರ್ಮಾವತಾರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಭಗವಂತನ ಬೆನ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಕೂರ್ಮ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಆಮೆ ಮೇಲಿರೋ ಆ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಶೆಲ್ ತುಂಬ ಚಿಪ್ಪು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ತುಂಬ ಗಟ್ಟಿಯಾಗಿರೋ ಚಿಪ್ಪು, ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಂದಾರ ಪರ್ವತವನ್ನಿಟ್ಟು ಕಡುಗೋಲಿಂದ ಕಡಿದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸಮುದ್ರ ಮಂಥನ. ಇವಾಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಕಂಬೋಡಿಯಾ, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಟು ಕಂಬೋಡಿಯಾ, we all been to Cambodia. In Cambodia there is a 2000-year-old temple, Angkor Wat, which has got 3 stories. In the bottommost story is the Samudra Manthana on the wall. It is a 1,000 feet wall on which the entire Samudra Manthana is beautifully sculpted. The next story we have the Mahabharata, Ramayana. The next story we have the Mahabharata. All this has been sculpted in the Angkor Wat in Cambodia. Beautifully sculpted. So all has come from Bhagavatam. 2000 years old is that temple Angkor Wat. And it has come from the Bhagavatam only, that particular episode. So you remember sculptors were there, already there. So Mount Mandara on his back. The Lord assumed the form of a tortoise and supported Mount Mandara on his back. In his 12th descent, he took the form of Dhanvantari and emerged from the ocean with a jar full of nectar. While during his 13th manifestation, he assumed the form of an enchanting woman and gave the gods the nectar to drink, keeping the others, the demons, spellbound all the while. ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ 12ನೇ ಅವತಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ 12ನೇ ಅವತಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಬಂದರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಅವರು ಬಂದು ಧನ್ವಂತರಿಯ ರೂಪವನ್ನು ಧಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸಮುದ್ರ ಮಂಥನ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ 14 ಪದಾರ್ಥಗಳು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದವು. ಸಮುದ್ರವನ್ನು ಮಂಥನ, when the ocean was churned, 14 gems or 14 things came out from the churning of the ocean. The first one was the Visha, Hala Visha. It was poison. The last one was Amrita. The last one was Amritam or nectar. If a person drinks Amritam or nectar, one doesn't die. That is the immortality. Amritam is Amarana. Amarana or Amrita means absence of death. ಕೊನೆ ಅಂದರೆ 14 ಪದಾರ್ಥಗಳು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು ವಿಷ. ಆ ವಿಷವನ್ನೇ ಶಿವ ಕುಡಿದಿದ್ದು. ಶಿವ ಕುಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನೀಲಕಂಠ ಆದರು. ಶಿವ ಕುಡಿದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕ ಅವರು ನೀಲಕಂಠ ಆದರು. ಕೊನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು ಅಮೃತ ಕಲಶ. ಈ ಅಮೃತ ಕಲಶವನ್ನು ಧನ್ವಂತರಿ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಧನ್ವಂತರಿ ಅವತಾರ ಯಾರ್ದು? ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ನಾರಾಯಣ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರು ಅವತಾರ. 13ನೇ ಅವತಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಮೋಹಿನಿ ಅವತಾರವನ್ನು ಧಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದರು. Name is not given here. He took the form of Mohini, a lady who enchanted, who attracted the asuras and then took them away and then gave the jar of Amrita to the Devatas. Paramatma's Leela again. Because the asuras are ineligible for good things. If they get a good thing, they will destroy the whole world. So Paramatma came in the form of Mohini and took away. 13ನೇ ಅವತಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಬಂದು ಮೋಹಿನಿ ಅವತಾರವನ್ನು ಧಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಮೃತ ಕಲಶವನ್ನು ಅಸುರರು ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರಿಂದ ಅಮೃತ ಕಲಶವನ್ನು ವಾಪಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ದೇವತೆಗಳು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದು ಮೋಹಿನಿ ಅವತಾರ. In his 14th manifestation, he took the form of a man lion and tore with his claws the bosom of the most powerful demon king Hiranyakashipu, even as a maker of straw mats would tear a reed. 14ನೇ ಅವತಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಬಂದು ನರಸಿಂಹ ಅವತಾರವನ್ನು ತಾಳಿದರು. ಹಿರಣ್ಯಕಶಿಪುವಿನ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆಯನ್ನು ಸೀಳಿ ಕೊರಳನ್ನು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ತೆಗೆದು ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರಹ್ಲಾದರೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಉದ್ಧಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ನರಸಿಂಹ ಅವತಾರವನ್ನು ಧಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. 14th of 5th. And then assuming the form of a dwarf in his 15th descent, he visited the sacrificial performance of Bali, the demon king, and asked him for 3 paces of land with the covert intention of robbing him of his kingdom of heaven. ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಮುಂದಿನ ಅವತಾರ ಅಂದರೆ 15ನೇ ಅವತಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ವಾಮನ ಅವತಾರವನ್ನು ಧಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ವಾಮನ ಅವತಾರ ಸಣ್ಣ ಬ್ರಾಹ್ಮಣರಾಗಿ ಬಂದು ಬಲಿ ಚಕ್ರವರ್ತಿ ಯಜ್ಞ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಬಲಿ ಚಕ್ರವರ್ತಿ ಬಂದು ಪ್ರಹ್ಲಾದರ ಮೊಮ್ಮಗ. He is the grandson of Prahlada. Bali is the grandson of Prahlada. So Bali Chakravarti, because Prahlada also was a demon, you remember? He is the son of Hiranyakashipu. He was born in the demon race, but he was a Bhagavatottama because of his attitude, because of his wonderful devotion to God. He was not called as a demon. Then from there from Virochana Bali comes. Bali Chakravarti he was performing a yajna, but he also had occupied heaven. So when Narayana came there, as a dwarf, and he says, I want 3 steps of earth, that's all. I don't want anything from you. 3 steps. Definitely take it. Shukracharya, the guru of Bali, said, don't accept, don't give him anything, don't say yes to him. But Bali Chakravarti was a very great philanthropist. He was a generous, so he said yes. ಸೊ ಬಲಿ ಚಕ್ರವರ್ತಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಜ್ಞ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ವಾಮನ ರೂಪವನ್ನು ತಾಳಿ ಬಂದರು. ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಕೇಳಿದ, ನನಗೆ 3 ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ, ನನಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದೇನು, ಏನು ಬೇಕು ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಬಲಿ ಚಕ್ರ. ನನಗೆ 3 ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕಾಲಿಡಕ್ಕೆ ಜಾಗ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಸಾಕು, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ. ಪಾದೋಸ್ಯ ವಿಶ್ವಭೂತಾನಿ, ಪಾದೋಸ್ಯ ವಿಶ್ವಭೂತಾನಿ. ವಿತ್ 1 leg he covered the earth. ವಿತ್ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಹೆಜ್ಜೆನಲ್ಲಿ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಒಂದು ಭೂಮಿಯನ್ನೇ ಪೂರ್ತಿ. ಇದು ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ ಈ ಕವರ್ಡ್ ದ ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸ್. 2ನೇ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆನಲ್ಲಿ ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಜಾಗವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಆವರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. 3ನೇ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿಡಲಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನನ್ನ ತಲೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಡಿ, ನಾನು ಭಾಗ್ಯವಂತ, ಯು ಕೀಪ್ ಇಟ್ ಆನ್ ಮೈ ಹೆಡ್, ವೇರ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಐ ಗಿವ್ ಯು? ಐ ಆಮ್ ಎ ವೆರಿ ಫಾರ್ಚುನೇಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ನಾರಾಯಣ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಮ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಮೀ, ಸೊ ಯು ಕೀಪ್ ಯುವರ್ ಹೆಡ್ ಆನ್ ಮೈ ಹೆಡ್. ಸೊ Narayana very gracefully kept his head on Bali Chakravarti's head, and then slowly pushed him to Patala. Go to Patala, you go back to your place, don't come to Bhumi or Swarga. That is your place, go back. That is the 15th avatara, Vamana avatara. In his 16th descent as Parashurama, he found that the kings had become inimical to the Brahmanas. Enraged at this, he rid the earth of the Kshatriya race as many as 21 times. 16ನೇ ಅವತಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಪರಶುರಾಮ ಅವತಾರವನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದರು. ಈ ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಷತ್ರಿಯರು ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು. ಕ್ಷತ್ರಿಯರಂದರೆ ರಾಜ ಮಹಾರಾಜರು ಬ್ರಾಹ್ಮಣರನ್ನು ಆಧರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವರು ಬ್ರಾಹ್ಮಣರು ಪೂಜಾ ಪುರಸ್ಕಾರಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡೋರು, ವೇದಾಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡುವವರು, ಗ್ರಂಥಗಳನ್ನು ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕಾರ್ಯವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ. he did not honor the Brahmins. In other words, they became conceited, arrogant. So Parashurama came and then he annihilated the entire Kshatriya race. Whoever was a Kshatriya, he removed everybody from 21 ಸಾರಿ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಪರಶುರಾಮ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪರಶು ಅಂದರೆ ಕೊಡಲಿ, ಪರಶು means axe. He took an axe and came and then completely annihilated all the Kshatriyas. Then in his 17th descent as Vyasa, he was born of Satyavati through the sage Parashara, and finding the people of poor intelligence, divided the tree of Veda into many branches. 17ನೇ ಅವತಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ವೇದವ್ಯಾಸರಾಗಿ ಅವತಾರ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ವೇದವ್ಯಾಸರಾಗಿ ಬಂದು ಸತ್ಯವತಿ ಎಂಬ ಮೀನುಗಾರ ಹೆಣ್ಣಿನ ಮಗರಾಗಿ, ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ಶಿ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಫಿಶರ್ ವುಮನ್. ಸತ್ಯವತಿ ಬಂದು ಒಂದು ಮೀನುಗಾರನ ಮಗಳು. ಆ ಮೀನುಗಾರನ ಮಗಳಿಂದ ಪರಾಶರ ಋಷಿ ಅವರಿಬ್ಬರು ಕೂಡಿದ್ದರಿಂದ ವೇದವ್ಯಾಸರು ಹುಟ್ಟುತ್ತಾರೆ. ವೇದವ್ಯಾಸರು ಹುಟ್ಟಿ, ವೇದವ್ಯಾಸರೇ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಸ್ವರೂಪರಾಗಿ ವೇದಗಳನ್ನು 3 ಭಾಗವಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಶಿಷ್ಯರಿಗೆ ಹಂಚುತ್ತಾರೆ. ವೇದಗಳನ್ನು ಹಾಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವರಿಗೆ. Vedas could not be understood by the disciples just like that, one Veda. Therefore, he had to divide the Vedas into 3 and gave it to 3 disciples. In those days, only 3 Vedas were there. Vedatrayi, Vimale Vedatrayi, we say in the Arati, no? So Vedatrayi, that's why Trivedi came. Trivedi, Chaturvedi. The word Trivedi means one who knows 3 Vedas. Chaturvedi is one who knows 4 Vedas. That is how the names also came, Trivedi and Chaturvedi. So he divided the Vedas and gave it to the disciples. Then again in the 18th descent, he assumed the form of a ruler of men, Sri Rama, with a view to accomplishing the purpose of the gods, and performed heroic feats like bridging the ocean and so on. 18ನೇ ಅವತಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮರ ರೂಪವನ್ನು ಧಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿ ತ್ರೇತಾಯುಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ರಾವಣನ ಸಂಹಾರವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ ಸಮುದ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇತುವೆಯನ್ನು ಕಟ್ಟಿ ಅದ್ಭುತವಾದ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಅಯೋಧ್ಯೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಜನಿಸಿ. 19ನೇ ಅವತಾರದಲ್ಲಿ in the 19th and the 20th the Lord was born among the Vrishnis as Balarama and Sri Krishna. ಬಲರಾಮನು ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನೇ, ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕೂಡ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನೇ. 2 ಅವತಾರವನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡು ಒಂದೇ ಕಾಲದ ದ್ವಾಪರ ಯುಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಗೋಕುಲದಲ್ಲಿ ನಂದಗೋಪನ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಲರಾಮರಾಗಿಯೂ ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣರಾಗಿಯೂ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ 2 ಅವತಾರ ತಗೊಂಡು 20 ಅವತಾರಗಳು ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. And when Kali sets in, he will be born in Magadha, North Bihar, as Buddha. Kali Yugadalli, he will be born as Buddha. So Buddha is also one of the avatars of Paramatma. Buddha avatara, among the 22 avatars you can see here. So 21st avatara is Buddha avatara. So you say Matsya Kurma Varahascha Narasimhascha Vamana Ramu Ramascha Ramascha Buddha Kalki Janardhana is also one verse. Krishna Kalki Janardhana kuda heltare, Buddha Kalki Janardhana Buddharagi huttidru. And then again towards the end of the Kali age, when the kings most turn into robbers, the Lord of the universe will take descent from a Brahmana named Vishnu Vyasa as Lord Kalki. ಇನ್ನು ಈ ಅವತಾರದಲ್ಲಿ at the end of the ಕಲಿಯುಗ, ಈ ಕಲಿಯುಗದ ಕೊನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೀವಿ ನಾವು? 5121ನೇ ವರ್ಷ, 5121 years you have passed in the 4,32,000 years. So at the end of the Kali Yuga, Paramatma is going to take the avatar of Kalki avatara, born from a Brahmana family, Vishnu Vyasa, and he will be called as Lord Kalki. So these are the narrations of the 22 avatars of Paramatma. Here you see 22 avatars. Normally we thought it was 24 avatars, but it's 22 avatars Paramatma has taken. Avatarahya Sankhyeya Hare Sattva Nidher Dvija Yatha Vidasina Kulya Sarasa Syu Sahasrashaha Rishayo Manavo Deva Manuputra Mahaujasaha Kala Sarve Hare Reva Saprajapatayastatha Ete Chanshakala Pumsaha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrarivyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge Janma Guhyam Bhagavato Ya etat prayato naraha Sayam pratar grinan bhaktya Dukkha gramad vimuchyate. So now Suta Rishi is telling Shaunakadi Rishis, whatever I have just now told you is some of the avatars for Paramatma. There is no count at all to the number of forms what Paramatma has taken. All the Rishis, all the Manus, all the Prajapatis, including you and me, are Paramatma's avatars only. Are all Paramatma's avatars only. But why do you call as somebody as an avatara? Because of the special qualities. When a person has got very, very special qualities, higher than the ordinary, more than the ordinary what we see, then we say that is a special avatara. Otherwise you say Paramatma, we are all Jiva Rashi. These are all Jiva Rashis. When it is a special Vibhuti Purusha, then we say avatara. Shriman Narayana 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 Shriman Narayana 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 Shriman Narayana 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 सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।